you are a community club. DCFC is a community-built club. And it will always
team is pitching a plan to revitalize a historic gem in our community, and it's a project that's driven by their passion for their sport.
State of disrepair right now. Concrete sort of crumbling a little bit. The bleachers.
Football club. We're at Keywood Stadium. This stadium was built in 1936. Simply put,
it's amazing to see just how far they have come. Years ago, they were playing over at Gas Tech, and now so many people.
The post and Stephon St. Louis is there to clear it.
Yeah, in the background, you know, they give us the 12th man. You know, it's awesome.
Fans to watch. We're happy to put on a show for all these guys that came out to see us play.
When we move, they move, and just communication is the biggest part.
It was great. I think we could have earned a shutout earlier against Sparta in the year.
Awesome. You know, the atmosphere is amazing.
Monday with the right foot. It's in the back of the net.
People know us now. People know what to expect. Now we gotta take it to another level.
Look, city till I die. Say hi to the bad fella. Hella smooth with the flow, so grab your umbrella. Yeah, we make it rain, bring the pain. Things are changing. Power rankings take a spanking, got them rearranging. They said Denise are all stars till we deboed all y'all. Ball of fist and brawl y'all. Yeah, we pissed off all y'all, and we thin but still winning. Grinning at the top, got up under head spinning, make that chin pop. Blue collar clocking in. They been mocking us for days till they step into the key, and they been leaving with a fade. Doubting us, but then they swayed. Say we pout, they throwing shade. You will never have what we have, time to get the blade. Cause we'll be cutting them up, yeah, we're shutting them up. We ain't bluffing, tell you something, better knuckle up. Y'all ain't nothing but chumps, we put in overtime. We'll be putting in work until it's closing time. City till I die, talking blood, sweat, and tears. City till I die, we've been building this for years. City till I die.
Oh, there's a CBS tab on USL website.
Is there really?
Yeah.
It's
CBS, ESPN, Television, Univision, Sirius XM. Oh, and the Open Cup.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time.
What was that? What was that streaming service that the Nisa games were on for a while? Kuju.
Oh yeah.
My Kuju.
My Kuju.
The Kuj.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded like a venereal.
Some people refer to it as the C.
It was like an old Pentium computer from like 2001. You know, just trying to crank those streams out. It works sometimes.
Yeah.
Not often.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was pretty good for highlights. You could really go around the sea a lot, like easier than things are sometimes now. You know.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like you're blocked.
Yeah. From
the sea currently, depending on what subscription you've got. But. Well, it's the Dream Team tonight. We got Alan. We got Dennis.
Hey.
Got me.
Hello. What's up?
There's a lot going on, obviously. But I think the first thing we got, I think Dennis, you probably want us to start here. Surprise signing yesterday. What day did you spot him at training?
So I didn't spot him. Someone in the Discord spotted him, who I have no idea who this person is, but they said something about someone in the background at training and they couldn't get a good enough screenshot. So that's what made me go look for the background of training, see if I could grab a screenshot. But I don't know, it was definitely like over a week ago.
Yeah, last week sometime.
This is like the second or third time this season where we've joked about something and it came true.
we got to be careful. I don't think we know our own powers.
The immense power we have to dictate world events is just it's too much to handle.
The power of manifestation that is happening.
We're right on it.
But yeah, I went and got a screenshot on I wasn't like positive it was him still, to be honest, and I didn't want to seem racist, like, oh, there's a black guy in the screenshot, so it's probably Tatenda, like, so like that's why I posted a picture then to be like, is this like who I think it is? And then I guess we slowly got kind of a trickle of information that yes, it wasn't that indeed Tatenda Mkuruva.
Long time Michigan Stars goalkeeper.
Michigan Stars legend.
Yeah, Michigan Stars legend.
Michigan Stars legend torn, like DCFC torn in the side. Genuinely probably kept.
Oh, hated that guy.
So many games, so many derby games between City and the Stars. Respectable for the Stars, I would say. Because he is a genuinely good keeper, but he knows how to hold on to a lead or a tie. Once
practitioner of the dark arts.
So after they announced him, I just for pure amusement, I went back and I was like, I wonder if I could find a Stars game and just watch a little bit of this and see. So it was a 2019 NPSL League game, and he's there. He's in there in the goal. And no, not even joking. 18 minutes into the match, 0-0. He goes down with leg cramps. And he's falling on his back, and he's, gesturing for his teammates to come over and help stretch out the calf. And I'm like, bro, it's 18 minutes, and you've done no running whatsoever. This can't possibly be a real injury.
Well, listen, Jaime, we don't know what kind the conditioning coach and the fitness and what's going on out there in Romeo. Not everyone can have as good a health and fitness team as we do with with the team that we have. So
you saying George was skipping on player support? What a shock!
Yeah. Well, George, he was manager, CEO, CFO, and he just
he may have been the physio too.
He didn't have time to add physio to his platter. But it slowly trickled out that it was indeed our old friend Tatenda, and JR then saw it on Sunday night. I think that he had been added to the roster. So I don't know then if that's what made them decide to announce him on Monday, because we'd gotten wind of it. They did post on Monday before they announced it, or in a comment reply or something, a picture of Thanos with the stones, the Infinity Stones, which someone in the Discord had said something about Tatenda being one of the Infinity Stones along with Dario. So I don't know if we got a little front office mole in one of the Discords.
Clean OPSEC.
That seemed
maybe a problem.
That seemed a bit on the nose for. Well, anyway, it seemed was it yesterday he was announced? It was only yesterday, right? It wasn't.
Yeah.
So it seemed like the social media team was a bit unchained yesterday. There was a couple of posts that I don't think we would have seen a couple months ago. So that was cool to see too.
I think the supervisor may have been at a business meeting or something.
Yeah, or doing a radio interview or something. But I think as we've all seen, Tatenda has been greeted with open arms by every supporter of DCFC. There's been no naysayers whatsoever, and I'm excited to see kind of what this means. Does it mean? Maybe people have kind of been speculating. I mean, there's nothing. We have no more information than anybody else that maybe this means Carlos 2 might be going on loan somewhere, or I don't know. Maybe Carlos 2 decided he didn't fancy being the backup for the whole season, or maybe it's just because we're supposed to be having a 2 team, and maybe they'll just split reps between cup games and the 2 team or whatever, keep them all fresh as we need them.
Could it just be that we've arrived to the spot where we actually have 3 goalkeepers on the roster?
Yeah, it could be that too. And I don't know that other teams have 3 goalkeepers, but maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe.
I feel in the world of soccer, football, it's not. I mean, it's pretty common to have 3.
Yeah, and
at the top levels, right? But USL, I don't know if any people are carrying 3 or not.
Yeah, but, I'm gonna start going and looking. I probably should have done this before. But who's got lots of money? Charleston. But 3 keepers. I mean, whatever it means, it means. I'm sure part of it is probably because of the 2 team, and at some point we want to make the 2.
Louisville has 3 keepers.
Nice. So we at some point we want to keep. Oh yeah, and Charleston have 4 actually. So
4.
I guess if you got a big
that's
enough,
too much.
if you got enough roster spots, you might as well fill them. Especially like Tatenda announced he was leaving, or he was done with the Stars. Also, like the day after we
Stars are done with everyone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, R.I.P. Stars. At least till the fall, we guess, but whatever. I guess, yeah, he posted his farewell to the Stars the next day. So I'm sure he lives local. I don't know what his family situation is. So there was rumors that he had a couple of USL offers, or not MLS offers, which I'm sure were also MLS Pro Next Plus 2.0 whatever teams. But would he want to uproot his life to go for a reserve team? He might be more open to playing for the 2 team of City when he lives near the city, you know. But yeah, I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him in a City jersey. It's gonna be fun. And like, we messaged him from comms welcoming him, and his response back was like that he's pumped. Like he name checked NGS specifically and said he's very excited to play in front of them. And like, I don't know, I messaged him probably more than a couple of years ago. There was one match where he actually went off injured. It's the only one I actually remember us getting mad at him for like fake an injury, but then he ended up actually going off. So I messaged him from the main NGS afterwards just to be like, hey, I hope you're okay, like blah blah blah. And he wrote a really nice message back that time too. So I think he has always appreciated the shit that he was given. Like, I think he kind of revels in it a little bit. Like,
yeah, it's definitely felt like he fed off of it for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, if we want to give another goalkeeper a penalty this year, you know, we know he's got the goods, and yeah, it would be fun to see him, you know, trying to wait out the end of a famous U.S. Open Cup win with Tatenda going to ground every couple minutes, I think.
Well, it's definitely been a treat for the folks that have been around and have seen kind of what we're talking about here. And I agree with Dennis that the response has just been, you know, people, you know, really it's part of the club history, you know, our shenanigans with the Stars, and he was a big part of that. And so, you know, it's a very small circle, just goes round and around. And so now he's part of Detroit City. So how he'll be utilized, I think, is, you know, it's unlikely that he'll see too many minutes. But then again, we've got, you know, Open Cup, we've got Jaeger Cup. There's potentially some time that he could get, and I think probably it's more to provide some positive pressure on our number 1 and number 2 goalkeepers. So, you know, now whether he appears in the reserve squad, you know, that I don't know, like the contract issues with that, like if there's particular, you know, restrictions on using your pro keeper, you know, so I guess, you know, anything's possible, but you know, it's good. I think we don't have to worry about coverage, and you know, we've got a good goalkeeping staff now, and you know, Carlos is coming along. Carlos number 1, Carlos number 2. We really haven't seen too much about.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
him. So yeah, I mean, player management becomes an issue. You know, when you've got people fighting for spots, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
I mean, last year DQ rotated Nate and Carlos a fair amount, more than I ever would have expected. So maybe that is part of the master plan. I don't know, to kind of keep people involved, and
yeah, it could be that too. I don't know if that was just because maybe they knew Nate was thinking about hanging them up.
Yeah, no, I thought that was probably it. Is like they thought, oh well, we know we've got Nate for one more year. We want to bring in Carlos now, kind of make them both, part of the rotation or whatever. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Let's talk about the match on Saturday. Detroit City still unbeaten all time against our good friends from the South. Birmingham Legion tied 2-2. Dennis, what was your vibe? It felt to me like the old cliche 2 points dropped. But I'm wondering what your feeling was after the match.
Yeah, I'd go with that. I think they didn't really do a ton to like tie it up more so than we, I guess, tied up the second time or the first time. Honestly, more than we kind of handed it to them. Didn't love giving up that goal in the 80th. Like, I know Steve probably doesn't feel great about it either. Well, I hated to see that it was him that gave it up. But yeah, it seemed like we controlled the game. Like, it seemed. I was kind of shocked. To give up. It came from a stupid free out on the wing too. That when the free happened, I was like, "Why are you fouling right there? Like, there's no need to give them this opportunity."
Yeah.
So, yeah, I felt like we were so in control. And yeah, we just kind of handed them back the impetus right there at the end for them to then just hold out for 10 minutes. Although they did go attacking afterwards too. So, yeah, I thought we played well. I thought we've played well in all three of our games. I think the new boys that have come in have pretty much solidified the reasons they were brought in. Like, I think it's been a pretty good first few games for us. I think the midfield are creating good chances. I see that, we're top of the goal scorer charts, which, like, I don't know when is the last time we could say that, like, with 6 goals in 3 games. Like, I don't know what it took us to get the 6 goals last season, but I'd wager it was probably 5 or 6 games. And like those 6 goals have come off 24 shots. So we're scoring 1 in 4, which is kind of insane. We're top of the chances converted chart too on 38%. So I don't know how long those numbers can keep up. We're gonna have a good test here coming up Saturday, obviously. But yeah, I thought we needed to take a couple more chances. We had some gilt-edged chances that, had we taken them, I think we would have broken Birmingham to the point where they wouldn't have even had that last gasp to throw at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 points drop, or 2 points, drop for sure. But like, it wasn't the worst result either. They obviously they were coming off of their loss midweek, so there was a chance we were gonna get the angry Birmingham, which I guess in a sense we did, but they weren't angry enough to snatch it. But yeah, it was good to see the stands full, see the fans in mid-season form already. I was watching from fucking Boston Logan Airport, so I was watching on my phone, so I can only say what I saw on the small screen, but it seemed like people were in good voice and there was a good crowd there.
Yeah, it was a nice sunny day. I think that helped because obviously, March in Detroit it can be quite chilly, but yeah. Once you saw the forecast, it felt like there was going to be, and there was a lot of buzz, like before we even got into our seats or whatever. It felt like there was a lot of people around, just kind of milling in the concourse area. But yeah, 6,600 or so, I think, Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Alan, any standout players from the weekend?
I thought the overall team performance was pretty good. Our 2 goals were from forward players, which, you love to see that. Darren Smith and Ben Morris. Uh, so I thought that was a good positive step because, in our other games, it's been people other than the front line for the most part. Uh, so I thought they moved the ball around really nicely. So that's, we're seeing the product of their practice. And uh, so there was not a lot to complain about in terms of how we were doing. Uh, I think 2-1 would have been a fair scoreline to end the game with. So that late equalizer was a drag, and I think our guys kind of put their heads down a little bit because it seemed like after that we just didn't have that push to try to get the third goal. Danny made some very late subs that didn't really do anything. So I wonder if the substitution. So we had a couple of people come in the 70th minute, and then we had some that were really late,
Correct.
like 87th or something like that.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if the subs, had they been done a little differently, may have helped. But by and large, I thought it was a good performance. Could have used, like I think what Dennis mentioned, we probably should have gotten a few more chances in. We looked really set up to score on a few. Uh, so, but it definitely felt like a loss. 2 points dropped. But somehow, some way, we ended the game week at the top of the Eastern table. So I don't know how that would happen, but it kind of sets us up for an interesting match this coming weekend. But it would have been nice to get all three. Then we really would have had a lot of momentum. But got the draw, and it was more off of kind of fluky stuff than poor performance. So I'll take a silver lining there for sure.
Yeah, definitely some misfortune about both the goals. The first one is a big deflection, and then obviously the own goal. I mean, we've seen Stevie deal with a header like that a million times without any trouble, and for whatever reason, the timing was off or whatever, and it ends up in our own net. But so you brought up, so obviously now top of the table clash coming up this weekend. Detroit City going down to Louisville. Historically, I was meant to look it up. I feel like early in the USL Championship years, we struggled against Louisville. It felt like they battered us that one year in the playoffs. But we've had some decent results lately, or last year, I think. This is when we need Garrett, because Garrett would remember like all of these details, like to the T. You would remember the weather and who scored in what minute and everything. What is our confidence level going into the Louisville game, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, we just looking at FOTMOB. There's been Louisville's won 5 times. There's been 2 draws, and we've won twice.
Woo!
So it's not unheard of. Now, some of our losses were some of our more significant losses in terms of really getting battered hard.
The goal difference is very skewed one way.
Yeah. There was, we're on the wrong end of a 5-1, a 4-0. So those were the 2 big ones. We've hit. There's been some games where we didn't score. So I think the question is, how will we do against this Louisville team. And I think this Louisville team may be, maybe not at the caliber of some of those previous teams. They haven't been off to a great start this season. It's not a terrible start, but they're what is their? Yeah, they've had 3 wins or a couple wins, a draw. All with relatively low score lines. So I'd say we've got a good chance. Now, going to Louisville's obviously it's going to be tough, but I don't think it's a lost cause.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't realize that Wilson Harris had left to go and play in the Israeli Premier League. But of course, they still got our good buddy Philip Goodrum, who's still probably bitter that was it when he was with Memphis that he got blocked from allegedly going to like some bigger move, and he threw a big fit about it, and
he meant to go to Europe or something, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Still some familiar faces though. Dennis Taylor, Davila is there, Ray Serrano. Like, these guys have been a part of the team for the last several seasons or whatever. Where's your barometer on this one?
Yeah, I think Davila and Serrano have been their big performers this season. Like Alan said, like we're level, or I mean we're ahead of them. I don't really know why in the league, based on one of the head-to-heads or tiebreakers, but they've had two wins and a draw too. Their draw was also against Birmingham, but one of their wins was against Charleston, so that kind of sets out a stall for them. But yeah, I'm not too pushed about them. There's nothing I've seen from us that would suggest to me they're gonna smack us, and there's nothing I've heard or seen from them that suggests that either. So hoping we can pull off a win down there on our first ever Saturday meeting between the teams in USL, because it has seemed, however they've finagled it the last 3 years, that they've always gotten us down there on like a fucking Wednesday night when fans can't really travel. So it sounds like there's a decent group going. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we do down there on a weekend. But yeah, I'd be pretty confident of us going down there and getting a result. Maybe we still end up top of the table with each other. Maybe it's a draw. I did just now notice that Loudoun are fucking third in the league, and one of Louisville's wins was also against Loudoun. So I guess they've beaten 2 decent teams so far.
It's the Tommy McCabe effect.
Yeah, it must be. But yeah, I think we'll go down. I think we'll see. I'm gonna err on the side of optimism and say we see a nice little 3-1.
Ooh.
Dan and Darren will jump on that goal sheet again, and then we see a first goal for who's most likely to come on for us as a super sub.
Quinzati?
Yeah, maybe a first goal for Quinzati or Jordan Adebayo-Smith. Watch it now. It'll be 3-1 to them, and Connor Rutz will get our goal for 93 minutes or something. But yeah, I think it's how often do we get to say I know it's 3 games in, but we got a clash at the top of the table with Louisville. Like that's fucking dope. I think we've taken a step forward again this year, even though there might have been concerns about the players we were swapping out and the players we were bringing in.
Well, the thing we were really worried about was our midfield, and it seems like the guys that have come in are doing well. I mean, even Polisi, who we had specific questions about because he hadn't played all last year.
Yeah.
He's really growing into it, and he's a guy to keep an eye on because he's as
Yeah,
he's regaining his match fitness. He's really showing us a lot.
he had a pretty phenomenal, like low key phenomenal debut. Like his tackles and his passing were like off the charts without really like it was one of those that like he just played really well. And then he picked up a yellow card. And then he picked up a yellow card in his second game. So then I was starting to wonder if maybe we were about to see, you know, similar to Murphy from last season. But it seems like, yeah, like he Fatma gave him 7.6 in his first match and this past match. So yeah, I've been really impressed with him, honestly. For someone I wasn't expecting a whole ton from quickly, I've been pretty impressed with him.
He looked a little rough in that friendly against Toronto over at Legacy Sports, and I was like, oh boy. But no, he's really been good like since the real games have come on. So, what about this? Do you think that we're gonna have any lineup controversy? So obviously Devin Amumensa has been injured to start the year, and I feel like Shane Wheat's come in and played pretty well in these first 3 matches. Do you think there's any, like, once Devin is fit, do you think he just slides right back in, or do you think that Wheat is going to hang on to his spot for a bit?
I think that once Devin is close to healthy, we'll probably bring him on as a sub a couple times.
Yeah.
And I think that's testament to how Shane and Mikey Bryant have played so far.
Yeah, he's been great too.
I mean, those two guys have really been one of our better, pairings back there. So
right, and like that, I think that's probably kind of informing a little bit how slowly they're taking Devin's injury because he doesn't need to rush back,
Yeah.
So I think probably we'll see him come in a couple sub roles maybe, but I would imagine Mikey is more at risk than Shane because Shane's been lights out and Mikey's been great.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna swap one of them out in the 3 back there, I would imagine it would be Mikey over Shane. Like that's assuming that Shane can scoot over to the right too. I guess. I guess I don't know if he's played on the right of a 3 or anything before. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Answers will be had, I guess, at some point. But
we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, I'd be more interested to find out the timeline for Lay because even though I think our midfield has been good, I think they could always use a bit of Lay, storming forward from that deep position.
Yeah, I think he really drives the team forward sometimes. That we don't really have like Chapman and Police are more like pass the ball around and that's
yeah.
fine.
So it'll be interesting to see Lay when he's fit to come back in, and maybe it means dropping Cedeno to the bench, or maybe the two of them can play together. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
but yes, sure. Lay took some strides last season, I think, in that position, like in that kind of running free around the edge of the box position more so than him trying to sit back. So that will be also an interesting one. And they haven't given us. Well, they haven't even announced Devin is injured, have they? Like we've
no
surmised that ourselves.
Yeah.
And I know Lay got injured, or we found out about Lay's injury in the off season, but there's been like a weird. I don't know if it's due to something, but I see this from fans of other clubs too. There's been a weird like shift with the announcing of injuries and timelines. Like I saw someone else in the USL Reddit talking about this the other day too, and people are speculating that there might have been some shift with like someone said HIPAA, but that's not what HIPAA is, but like something to do with like confidentiality.
That could be, yeah. So I don't. My scoop for the day is that I caught a glimpse of somebody who will remain nameless. Who happened to be at training today, and they posted a few videos to their Instagram story. Jope is still just jogging around, like doing some light jogging on his own. So like it still feels like he might be a ways off. Obviously nobody knows for certain, but it's not like he's in there, like training in the normal activities. It's just kind of was still doing his own light work on the side. So, might be still a little bit before we see him.
And again, maybe that's being informed a little bit by what they've seen from Palisi and from Chapman, because I mean they've been solid. This is me, because Cedeno's been great too. So
also,
like, this is me getting greedy now, I guess, because this is like the fullest roster we've ever had in the USL, I feel like, and we're still, adding a third fucking goalkeeper. Like, so now this is me being like, oh, what's this team gonna look like when we have everybody back? Like, Jesus fuck,
Totally. Well, and like Juve, as not even wasn't even in the squad this past weekend, and he was kind of like a standout performer from League One last year. Like when he came on loan, we're like, oh man, this guy's got something, but he can't get in the team.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting too, to see how Danny approaches that, because he's kind of got these riches at his fingertips right now. We've seen in the past how, with a shorter roster, no less, but we've seen how some players can seem a bit unsettled when they aren't able to break into the team, or aren't given the chance. And we've heard some rumblings too from this past season that maybe sometimes players get left out and they don't necessarily know why. So hopefully we are finding a way to make our way through those choppy waters, because we do have a big roster this season, which means like players are going to be left out, especially when everybody is fit. So
maybe I've been a little surprised that it's a small sample of games, but Saturday's lineup was pretty much the same as the previous game. There was very little rotation, and so maybe that is at least for now the starting team. So that leaves a lot of guys. Now first Jaeger game is coming up. Against Pittsburgh? I think it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, end of April, I think.
Yeah, in April. So I assume we'll see like a whole different lineup for that. And we are seeing some guys getting some substitution minutes, but like we really haven't seen Yamazaki at all when he subbed in very late in that game against Colorado. Nothing on Saturday. So, and some of these guys, we at least on what we were able to see of their highlight reel, look like they could contribute. So, I think we do want to see them get a few minutes so we can see what they can do.
Yeah, and as the season progresses, I feel like we'll start to feel it out a bit more and see some players just aren't the ones to bring on as subs too. I feel like it can be tough to come into a game cold, so I'm sure we'll figure that out. I see he's using all of his subs every single game, even though some of them are late subs, but he's subbing in. I mean, it's the same three. It's Connor, Mori, and Guenzati, and then two others. So yeah. Once he gets a feel for it a little bit, we'll start to see hopefully a bit of changing up. Like, I mean, I'm loath to say that when we're kind of motoring along right now, so it's not that big a deal. While I was fishing around on here, though, I did see FOTMob has our top 3 rated players as Mikey Bryant, number 1, Shane, number 2, and Marcelo, number 3. So maybe it's Stevie that needs to worry when Devin comes
not to disregard Louisville, but I'm starting to get a little concerned about Monterey Bay, because they are a team that really have got a flying start this season. that might be a tougher game than traditionally that game has been against them. So both of these games are probably going to be, a good test.
Yeah, beating Orange County, Open Roots.
Yeah, second in the West. I hadn't even really looked that far ahead, but that's where we got.
I was looking at their results. I was like, who are International San Francisco? It was a U.S. Open Cup game.
So.
Yeah, no, that is a good, interesting point about Monterey. I guess the best thing we can say about that is that they're coming to Detroit. So, hopefully the jet lag will, there's none of their players I'm looking at who I'm like, oh yeah, I know him. I didn't know they got him.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just doing it. They're just.
I think they had a bit of turnover. They retooled a little bit, and whoever they brought in seemed to be doing okay.
Yeah, this is by far small sample size, but their best points per game in the last 5 years.
Let's shift gears. Let's talk. So the MASLW finally announced the playoffs.
Playoffs.
I know.
Playoffs.
So this coming weekend, playing in Iowa, Detroit City women have a first round bye, which is great. They deserve it. So they're playing the winner. So they'll play Saturday, the winner of Cincinnati and Dallas, who I know nothing about. And then if things keep going along the way you might expect them, it looks like they will be on a collision course with that Chihuahuas team, Chihuahua Savage, in the final.
Hey, we're number one seed.
We are the number one seed. Absolutely.
Chihuahua, which surprised me, given these crazy numbers they've put up.
Yeah, they lost.
Just shows how good we did this year. I mean, it's hard to describe how good.
So last year, I'm trying to remember last year's playoffs. Didn't they have to play 3 games in one day?
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah, it was. It was 3 full games. I think
it was a really weird setup. So this year,
definitely 2, and then I think the final the next day or something.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
No recovery time though.
But this year, the first round, the two first round games are on the Friday, then the semifinals on Saturday, and then the final on Sunday. Allegedly, it's going to be on YouTube. I'd seen that somewhere. I don't know if the club's put out. I'm sure they haven't put out a link yet, but.
Yeah, no, I don't know where that came from, but it seems to be a legit link that they've put on special because they said every game will be on.
I think that I don't know if it's going to be at the same location as that game that we had in Iowa against the Demon Hawks or the Demon Hogs or Demon Hummer or whatever. The facility sucked, but the commentary team they had was not bad. So if it's the same setup, at least I think we'll get a decent stream.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because some of the streams. I mean, not everyone's got the right setup for it. Some of these indoor facilities, it's just kind of there was a kids game on it the hour before, so there's maybe not necessarily a vantage point, but yeah, hopefully it'll be decent. Now, has anyone heard? So I know head coach Danny Evans gave birth this week. So I don't know if she's making the trip. I don't know. Has anyone heard what the plan is for the coach of the team?
I have not heard anything about that.
I haven't heard much at all. Even the traveling squad this late, and it's been a few weeks since they've played. So
yeah,
I hope we're able to assemble, the all-stars here and not lose anybody to other commitments.
Well, I see Gabby's in Florida, so I'm assuming she's not going. And I heard rumblings that she's not going. So the fact that she's in Florida would suggest to me that those rumblings are correct. Which, doing a bit of fishing around looking for this link, I see that today's March 26th, right? Yeah, Major Arena Soccer League named their first and second team all-stars today.
Oh, all right, let's have it.
Breaking news.
And from Detroit City FC, we have Kayla Addison.
Yay!
And we have Gabrielle Shriver. So we and Chihuahua both have 2 on first team. And then Wichita Lady Luck. It's kind of a fun name. And Dallas RPFC have 1. And then I don't care about second team. Chihuahua have 1 more, no? No, they don't. Second team is made up from all the also-ran teams. So, yeah, that's exciting for them to be named the first team all-stars. And then it says they will announce the MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Goalkeeper of the Year will be announced on Friday before games kick off. So I would assume Gabby has a good shout. I would assume both of them have good shouts of nipping at least 2 of those.
That would be cool as hell.
But yeah, aside from Gabby, I haven't heard of anyone who will or won't be traveling. Also, Danny, so I don't know. I don't know if there's a level of you can probably coach yourselves in this sort of league, or like obviously Danny does a phenomenal job, but I don't know, maybe she does such a phenomenal job that the women know what their roles and tasks are.
Yeah, maybe Dwayne.
Maybe Dave goes with them.
Yeah, goes Dave. Down. He knows, he's familiar with all those players, so that could be.
I mean, he could definitely step in. And I know that our number 2 was getting used a little bit more towards the end of the season. So I'm sure that, the plan was probably to prep her to step in if needed. It would be nice to have Gabby, but I mean, it could be, it's just not likely at this point. So.
This is the first time I've been on this MASLW website, and it's legit. Like, it has.
They revamped it from last year to this year, because
it has stats.
Last year when I went on there, like initially to try and work out the schedule, it was still showing the 2021 season standings. Completely outdated. Yeah, they've revamped it this year, and there's actually some real information and.
We probably tripled their website traffic.
It has as many.
Oh shit, we need to do something for real.
It's got links to social media. It's got everything. It's
that's crazy. The link the link to watch the games looks very legit too. So it looks like it's part of some Iowa soccer network. So
okay,
that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, hopefully they can bring home a national title to throw behind the bar, and we'll move on into the summer.
Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else of note.
I think
you got some Open Cup news today.
Oh yeah, we did. I was like, we're finally going to keep one of these to under an hour.
We got time.
CBS has picked up the broadcast rights for the U.S. Open Cup starting round 3 and for the next 2 seasons. So not a long-term contract, but it's good news. Mainly going to be on Golasso and CBS Sports Network.
I think
So
Paramount Plus.
Paramount
Is
Plus,
every
yeah.
game.
So that's the streaming service.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is with Golazo, they're going to have a panel, and so they're going to properly support these games, and hopefully they'll have a whip around show. At least for the third or fourth round, where there's lots of games going on. So I think it's really good news. CBS is really, doubling down on their soccer coverage. And so this is a good place for U.S. Open Cup to be. And I think this is probably a deal that's been in the works and was kind of scuppered last season by MLS being dicks. So this season they're still dicks, but they're smaller dicks.
Wow, say dicks again.
Yeah. You see what I did there? So we're going to be on TV potentially, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, going from what we thought was going to be the last ever U.S. Open Cup to now this, a revived tournament and now a TV deal, like kind of a big
and
deal.
like the biggest prize money ever.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Which is
increase.
Which is bigger than the money you get for winning the MLS.
Yeah, suck on that.
Well, it seems like the U.S. Open Cup is going from strength to strength, and all we had to do was get rid of the fucking chaff, the MLS, the top MLS teams, and now everybody gets to have fun with it, and we get to go in the third round.
I've been watching some of these games on YouTube, and I think that's a good place for the first and second rounds because there's a lot of games, and you kind of want to see what you want to see. And I've really enjoyed the game so far. I watched Portland's first game ever. Was in Open Cup against some scrubby team in their area. But they had a big crowd, 3,000 plus people for that. So, I think, and we're going to get another good matchup in round 2, Chattanooga versus Chattanooga.
Oh yeah,
so that's going to be.
There's going to be so many viewers on that YouTube link, and they're going to be like, "Why?" And it's just going to be thousands of Detroit fans hate watching that game.
Yeah.
The chat. They're going to have to disable the chat.
Yeah, it'll be an enormous amount of shit talking.
So, I should jump around these websites more. But I see our game in August against North Carolina is on big CBS. Which
maybe.
I thought we only had an ESPN2 and a CBS SN game this year.
And that's a away game, right?
It's away, but it's being advertised as being on Big Boy CBS.
Wow.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was something we knew. We should just do an hour of me scrolling around the USL website, seeing what I can find.
Finding random facts. Oh, I see the attendance was 1,500 here in Des Moines.
That seems to be over what their fire marshal says they can have. Interesting.
Well, stay tuned for next week when we look up local legislation and fire safety restrictions on lower league stadiums. So
that's right.
Real quick though, a couple of birthday shout outs. Darren Smith, top scorer for the team, his birthday was today. He did not look like he was adhering to any kind of team diet on his birthday, so good for him, eating the cupcakes. Big shout out to our good friend Sean Kelly, who just had their first baby the other day, actually on my daughter's birthday as well. So that's cool. And special belated birthday to this podcast, our good friend, founder of the 451 podcast, mentioned it, and I forgot last week, but It was 6 years, I think, since the first episode.
6 years, yeah.
About 6, yeah.
I thought it was 6. Can I just interject? It was red. He told us late, so he did not tell us before the date. So
he told us on like March 19th.
Yeah. And then the second interjection I have is that we should, as we're shouting out young Cormac Kelly, Sean's new son, we should also shout out Casey, who did all the work.
All the work, yes.
So shout out Sean and Casey and Cormac.
Congrats.
That's it. That's all for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. I'll see you down. Exactly. I'll see you down in Louisville if anyone's going.
Oh,
and
you're going to Louisville?
I am. Yeah.
Jesus, the things we have to do to get you to Keyworth, but you'll fucking go out of state for a game.
Well, I was there on Saturday.
I kid, everybody. Jaime goes to infinite more games tonight.
All right.
City till I die. Say hi to the bad guy.
See ya.
Pretty in the key. You see our flag fly, chin check. Hashtag we came to sweep the leg. With all disrespect, the Rouge will bruise your head. 2012, the scene pop. We came to clean clocks. Your team is dream drop. We gave some mean knocks. Stomping on the comp. Yeah, we chomping on the bit. Many came and went, but they ain't stopping none of it. Community built, community owned. Roasting foes coast to coast. Leave your hope postponed. Spirit of Detroit. Lemons the lemonade. Yemen and Bangladesh make a stronger.